Ticketway.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman? We got my man Harrison on ones and twos. This is not Inside the Huddle. This is Old School, brought to you New School Way. We are sponsored by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Yale, 85th and Laundromat, and 168th and Maple, up there in the O. A lot going on. Obviously, appreciate Kevin Meyer, Mark Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, stopping over on the block. Thirsty Thursday is always a holiday, but it's always good to see somebody like Kevin. Obviously, you know that the Nebraska basketball team played well enough to win, extended their stay in Vegas till Saturday, so good for them. Get a little rest and maybe sightseeing, and then probably get focused in on the game come Saturday, even though it is Final Four weekend, but they still get to play, which is obviously big and positive news for them.
And Orman gets to stay in Vegas for a little bit longer.
Yeah. You know, I need to text Austin. My mom lives in Vegas. You know, if he wants to go over there, you know, she's always – you know, she'll send him over, you know, a nice little plate.
There you
About
go.
15, 20 minutes. See what we can do.
Yeah.
See if
She know how to cook the same way Foreman does? Jay Foreman on the grill?
She know how to cook better. I mean, her thing is she makes quiche in the morning. It's hitting. Bacon.
I mean,
bacon
where to
is
start
dinner,
with that.
but yeah. But, you know, switching a little bit to the NFL, right? Because obviously Husker football has been combed over. I know we had some of the coordinators talk today, but we're going to do NFL. We're going to do a little bit of Bears because my man Harrison is here. But more importantly, reading here, Harrison, I wouldn't say the influence. It's definitely influence, but I think the explosion of flag football. I think before we get into this article, you saw RG3 and Cam Newton. I guess they have 7-on-7 teams, or a business or what organization. They went head to head on I think it might have been on NFL Network or ESPN, but they were kind of jawing back and forth, and it's obviously where a lot of kids get recruited and looked at, you know, through the high school ranks. But more importantly, into this right here, there's 10 investment groups enter bids for pro flag football for men and women. Now, obviously, I think that it became Olympic sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also they had the pro flag football men's league where they were challenging NFL players.
Yeah, that took off.
Yeah, it did.
By the last year. Who was that one guy in
Yeah, the
particular?
one
who
little quarterback.
He stirred up the whole NFL nation. He got him.
And when the quarterbacks weren't playing bad, he's like, you know, you need me or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like 40-some years old, but he definitely was a problem. But I think when you have 10 investment groups and some big hitters, right? You got the likes of Ice Cube and his group that's taken off with, his 3-on-3 league, Michael Strahan and Constant Schwartz Marini. So that's obviously when you got a hyphenated name, you got double money, right? You got Alexis Ohanian's investment firm 776. Well, he's a big financial guy. His wife is Serena Williams. TKO Group Holdings. I don't know who that is. That's somebody that's doing something in boxing. So that's obviously, and then you got Avenue Capital Groups, Ice Cube. I mentioned Ice Cube, Connect Ventures, a partnership between Talent Agency Creative or CAA, which is huge in football, and venture firm New Enterprise Associates. And then you got another entertainment group and one more that they didn't name in here. But when you think it's there,
got a lot of backing. That's more backing than
it's 10 groups put in an invest, so they want to have it. And so that lets you know they see, number one, they see just by this, the connection with the NFL, the growth potential, how they could see the growth of this men and women's pro league, which even Matt Rule is talking about having women's flag football.
Yeah.
And then also how it can influence from top down. And, look, it's the new age. I mean, somebody said it. I don't know if it was like Terry Bradshaw or one of us older school guys that said, what, pretty soon it's going to be flag football in the NFL. And look, I mean, barely touch anybody and all that. So
there's a lot of new leagues coming out. It's just kind of that era of sports right now.
But flag football / 7-on-7 is taking over.
Yeah, especially the women's got a lot of momentum.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah, and they get after it. And so they had women's football for a little while and stuff like that. And they also part of the Serena Williams group and her husband is that they have big hitters like Caitlin Clark is on their board. The Broncos minority owner, which is obviously part of Walmart, Eli Manning, part of their panel. It's pretty interesting because Serena Williams already has maybe a leg up. She owns some of the Dolphins. You're seeing a lot more athletes going and owning sports teams, but more importantly, the growth of it. And there's a stat here. I'm just reading this. According to National Federation of High School Sports, about 500,000 girls ages 6 to 17 played flag football in 2023. A 63% increase since 2019, making it one of the fastest growing sports in the United States. The NFL counts for more than 750,000 participants in flag football league nationwide, and all 32 franchises sponsor their own league. So
why is that growing so fast?
Nobody wants to hit. I mean, the women.
But for the women's side, I mean, they can play a bunch of different sports, but they don't got to hit each other. I'm surprised.
I just think it's football. I think football's grown so much that women have watched it, and they want to play it, and it's, obviously they can't go. I think you can probably find. I don't know how many. Say you got 8 people on a team, or out there. 8 offense, 8 defense. You can probably find 15, 12 people to play versus going and finding 50 people to play tackle football.
True.
So, and plus with the emergence of 7-on-7, the highlights that you see, the way that the Pro Bowl has changed, and with the growth of flag football
and sports gambling, I think these people have more money now than they know.
They're going to be betting on this game, and don't think they're playing in pro sports. It's not going to be tied to and there's going to be a draft to it. You're going to see some players that maybe transition from the NFL to flag football if it goes this way.
Well, even if they don't gamble on that, just like I think the confidence in putting that much money into it is like there's a lot of people with a lot of gambling money now.
They're going to be gambling. The problem is how they're going to be able to regulate it. You're able, as far as gambling, because you can probably get in touch with a flag football player a lot easier than an NFL player. NFL, I'll tell you from experience, you're over there during the season or even in the off season, sun up to sundown. You're not going into that building without passing a security check, most likely, background check and all that. You're not getting in front of an NFL player in a locker room unless you went through those channels. So if you come in and you have anything associated with that, if you're not associated with the NFL and you're some sort of like runner or something like that, you're going to get thrown. Now, some of these people, even if they are pros, depending on what they're getting paid, might work at the Hampton Inn and just, and they might practice or they might fly to practice and then they play. Well, I could walk in and hand Hampton Inn, give you a nice little envelope. Harrison, I need 1 touchdown this weekend. I need you to be a little off.
Rozier could do it in the NBA.
Yeah.
I can.
I mean, that game, Rozier's dead in the water. But I mean, so it's. But I think there will be enough interest that people gamble on this. I think you're going to see off-brand things start to rear its head just because of the expansion of coverage.
Mm-hmm.
The 24/7 sports. I mean, you saw it. I know this is not this apples to apples, but Tiger Woods has his league. Now you see night golf by golf influencers that's going to be played on Peacock. So you're going to have the major league and then off-brand stuff, and everybody's going to eat off of it. And if NFL teams, all 32 franchises, sponsor their own leagues, why wouldn't you? Now, maybe I don't think the gambling part will start out at first, but if it goes and blows up like everybody, these 10 investment firms are hoping, why not?
Curious what the viewership would that be? Like, where would you air those games?
Well, if the NFL owns it,
yeah,
it's going on the NFL Network. Guaranteed. Why not?
Yeah,
guaranteed. They know how to produce a game. They know what they want it to look like. It's an NFL product by all 32 teams sponsored. It's going to be right on. I'm assuming it's going to be on NFL Network. I mean, heck,
it would be. I mean, if they're doing it the way you're talking about, where each NFL team has their own affiliate, then yeah, you'd be stupid
and then
not
maybe
to.
Local or whatever if it's a big tournament and they do playoffs. But you also got to think here. Roger Goodell said the idea of players competing in flag football in the 2028 LA Olympics is a popular topic among league's players. So this lets you know that these players have came up playing essentially more flag football than real football. It's more 7-on-7 than traveling football, or they'll be playing more 7-on-7 during the fall and winter and fall, or fall and winter, excuse me, because they can go travel other places than maybe playing football or basketball because that's what they're used to. If you got NFL players knowing how football is supposed to be played, willing to play in the Olympics, NFL is probably going to be all for it. So it's interesting.
I wonder how entertaining it'd be. It's like the All-Star game. It's probably not a good example because they don't try at all on that one. That's horrible to watch, but those guys aren't giving a whole lot of effort.
Well, I think
have you actually sat and watched like a flag football game start to finish?
Like besides the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, besides Pro Bowl.
A couple times. I wanted to see old boy that was talking all that junk. It's
is it entertaining? Like with
somewhat.
two NFL networks on and you got, the Chicago Bears flag football team versus your Bills. You gonna watch that?
I'm gonna watch anything with the Bills. I think I've watched it a little bit. It is somewhat entertaining, but I also realize it's still flag football.
Yeah, that's what.
Now, there's some good athletes out there.
I'm not sure if I'm fully bought into it yet.
I think it's something. I think it's something that people can get behind, and it's that you could even do it in the dog days of summer to compete with baseball. Baseball games usually are at night. We were just talking about that. Well, you can play this during the day, and you get viewership to NFL Network.
True,
and it could be a short season. Heck, I could, heck, if I have a quarterback and you ain't getting no reps, and you coming back from a shoulder injury, I could say, you know what, I'm gonna designate a receiver and a tight end and a quarterback down there. They get some routes in, get some guys. I'm pretty sure the referee. If I'm a referee, I love it too. Get more checks.
Yeah, it'd be a good way to get the ref some more practice and reps as well.
Yeah,
because how many pass interference calls do you see?
Well, you're gonna see it. You're gonna be and if they have
get a lot of those options.
I'm telling you, if you can have more reps for them because they don't want to pay them as full-time employees, as college and pros, and every level in college, you'll get some good referees versus like guy just doing it for beer money. I like it.
Summer preseason.
Yeah.
You get more reps, a little bit more football.
Yeah. And we got a good text here from 5604. He says TKO is affiliated with WWE. And I know The Rock has some stock in that too. So there you go. Yeah. So now you're getting big hitters.
Yeah, big hitters.
Then we got here flag. Let's see here. We got a good text here. This is obviously a good. This is a real world text here. It says flag football is cheaper equipment and cheaper to play. And now I don't think football, when you start playing, is as expensive as hockey. But when you have kids that grow crazy, you got to buy new gloves, new cleats, and if you have to buy new pads and all that, it does get spendy.
And you got to buy new. It's nuts how you'll bust through your cleats, you'll put the gloves,
and you can't wear a helmet that's too old either, because that's a good way to set you up for concussion.
Did you have to buy? We had our own helmets, but I remember are the speed flexes. They've started coming out, but we had the classic where you had to fill them up with air.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't have to pay for like helmets, pads, or anything. But if you wanted a nice helmet, you had to cough it up.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you say you try to play club football,
yeah,
you know, you got to go get
Go
your own
get your
equipment.
gear.
So say you go from tight end to offensive lineman, that's a whole different set of pads. So got John and Courtney said, I need more encouragement to look for teams support places like South Dakota, Northern Iowa, Grambling. Got a nice young man down there, some kid named Miles, used to be scholarship, the new reality. He's talking about sending money down there. Old Dad 34. He said, Jay, you should start a team in Lincoln. Start what team, Old Dad 34? A men's flag football team?
Men's or women's?
That means like my age.
I
Or
think
like-
I think you're just the coach.
Oh no, I mean like well, what I mean is, do you mean like 7-on-7? You know, high school or like middle school to the high school kids, or do you mean, hey, I gotta go recruit guys out of LA Fitness or whatever gym? Hey man, well he's saying yes. So which one? You got to be specific, Old Dad. Men's. Yeah, we should get some men out there. Now we gotta have an age limit though. What do you think the oldest guy I should take? No, you shouldn't, because there's some dudes that are.
I mean,
still 40.
You look at a
'Cause I'll
guy
put-
like Ron Brown and
Yeah, I mean, there's
probably
40
go
years
out
old
there,
that got the fountain of youth, and they can still hoop, and they can. So I guess I have to have trials. I'm gonna have a combine too.
hold the combine.
Yeah, get your vertical. Hey,
I like it.
yeah, gotta get the vertical out there. Okay, Old Dad, you got me thinking a little bit. You gotta come up with a name.
I was gonna say
Text line, we gotta come up with a name.
Fighting Foreman's is too generic.
Yeah, that's too generic. We gotta get something. It had to be someone with Lincoln, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you could take the Bug Eaters back.
Lincoln Savages.
Yeah.
There's Lincoln Savages. It started here at 5:00 on an odd Thursday.
We probably got the least amount of savages in Lincoln. We're too nice.
Yeah, I know, but we gotta get it. We gotta get it out of them, man. You gotta run the mile. You gotta test you in your 40. You gotta make
vertical.
Yeah,
broad jump.
Oh, you're gonna be going through. You gotta play offense and defense too. You gotta be versatile, unless you're real special.
What is like? What are all the linemen gonna do though during the summer when this is going on?
We'll have lineman camps, real lineman camps with pads.
They get none of the glamour. They just got to go.
They can't do none of this.
No, they can't. That's what I'm saying. There does leave a void in this during this.
But it's always been a void for them though.
That's true. They just got to go to work.
They got enough lineman camps. They just eating. That's all they do.
Eating, going through shoots.
Yeah.
Repeat. Yeah.
Play some basketball. You get a little quicker, but
that's true.
That might be all right though, man.
I mean, if there was some like rural flag football teams around clubs, I'd go watch.
I could get some 7-on-7. I could coach a little 7-on-7.
Show up playing fitness.
Get a little headset on. Be like Bo Pelini.
Would you recruit anybody from the ticket
to play?
Yeah.
I get Farley. I get Farley out there. Farley and Vershawn.
Farley and Vershawn be good. Lamont Green, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's still. He'd be good,
shape.
but
yeah, if we were running the ball here, I'd let him do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he wants to play wide receiver, sure, he's probably still a pretty good bet out there.
Yeah, I don't know, but 7-on-7 is huge, man. It's something that needs to probably expand in Lincoln. I know some people are trying to get out the ground, but got to find some fields and stuff to be able to do it, and get people that are willing to invest their time, but then also invest into becoming a better football player.
They can ever go further than just like a club thing, though.
7-on-7.
Yeah.
Well, I think those guys would be the ones you transition to, and then you could do both. You can have like your youth, and then obviously some like older guys.
But are there any high schools that actually have flag football, like official flag football teams right now?
I don't think they have flag. Oh yeah, we had the Northeast coach, Coach Boyd, in here. Now he's doing alumni flag. He was in here yesterday.
So
alumni flagging. I'm sure there's some schools that go around and play 7-on-7 and stuff like that. But I think if you got kids out here, I mean, the biggest thing when you try to play 7-on-7 at the level of like the Warren Academy and stuff like that, you got to make sure, number one, you got to have quarterbacks too, from what I've been told, and then you got to have kids that are invested that want to go and play college, because it's just like anything, basketball or any sport, you got to really work at it. You're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to have quicks. You're going to have to do footwork drills. You just can't say, all right, I'm going to one practice a week on 7-on-7 and go against some of these kids in California and probably not do well.
What do you say to the people who, like, I know Barry Thompson has his opinion. He doesn't mind 7-on-7, but he's like, that's all you do. It's not great.
Okay. Here's my analogy. If you're a basketball player and all you do is go to trainers and don't play, same thing. Barry's saying football is a real game. You need to be playing real football, tackle. But there is a reason for 7-on-7. I do think going to seeing somebody like Barry or going to see somebody like that's a basketball trainer and then playing club, which 7-on-7 is, they all help each other. There's 3 pods. There's the trainer, which is skill, and then weights too. And obviously you go along with it. Then there's the club team, which is probably a little bit harder because you're going against the best of the best, right? Supposedly, but generally better competition in shorter time with no preparation because you're just showing up and saying we're playing a team for Los Angeles. You don't got a lot of tape on them. And then you got to apply it to high school. So all 3 pots need to have the same amount of investment, 33%, 33%, 33%. And so you do that, then it's all worth it. But if you only do one, put your 100% there, then you lose the other 2. And really the other 2, the club and the high school, is how you get to college. So it's all happening. We got one text here before we go to break. He said, I bet you could get a rowdy intramural 7-on-7 team put together through UNL. I'm sure they got some frat boys. I mean, heck, remember Lane Kiffin got the kicker out of the frat house?
Yeah, that's right.
He's like,
I forgot about that.
He's like, we got to get him in shape, though. So, your buddy had a powerful leg. So, it can happen.
Yeah, they'll do anything.
I mean, I bet
there's
some good athletes walking around every campus.
They're looking for stuff to do. I mean, like a lot of them, that's why pickleball gets popular. There's a pickleball league.
Yeah.
What's the one game where you toss it off?
There's some guys that chose not to play Division II football.
They want to go be a doctor
because they only wanted to go Division I, and then they're just going to school here to be, like you said, be a doctor.
Yeah, and it's like being a doctor is hard. Do I still want to try to do D2 sports on the side?
Yeah, or do I want to do this? And if you get good enough, you get paid a little bit for it. And you could have some college leagues too. That's how you get I'm only like a 7-on-7. I'm going pro 7-on-7.
I'd be curious to see how this thing blows up. If the NFL does latch on to it and you start seeing it just become more popular,
yeah,
I'd hop on a team over the summer. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see how far it goes.
It's good for girls too. NFL probably loves it because that's just going to help their viewership out. I mean, you get more girls playing football. Yeah, it's not the same. It's the form of it, but they'll just become fans of the sport as well, and they'll finally get to dive into a little bit more of that women's market.
Yeah,
and they already do the best at that than any of the other pro sports right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's they're just guerrilla marketing and flooding the market. I mean, we saw what the NFL said. Listen, NBA, you thought Christmas was your day.
I still hate that. It sucks.
We'll take that back from you. And we're going to put our Chiefs on there too.
You know what? We might even play on Wednesdays, Tuesdays, Mondays. We don't care anymore. There's not a day the NFL won't play. Like obviously it's not the norm, but like around the holidays, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Like they kind of made that point clear. It's like there's no day sacred anymore.
The Chiefs played three games in 10 days or something?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Like no day sacred in the NFL. Yeah. Like if you're,
I mean, they're talking about expanding playing overseas too.
Mm-hmm. NFL's king. That's they're gonna.
But they keep talking about player safety.
Yeah.
Anyways, with safety is that we're up against the break. We'll take a quick break. Come back. We'll talk about the comings and goings of the NFL. The Bears Stadium is up for grabs as Harrison's team, where they're going to have the location. But is where it's going to go part of getting Ben Johnson to go there? Is that because I'm not taking a head coaching job unless you're kind of telling me it's A or B, right? So we'll take a quick break, come back, talk about the Bears, talk about the Chiefs, what they need to do under the radar as the first time losing a Super Bowl in 3 years. Shame on them. But anyways, Jay Foreman, Harrison, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through April 6th, enjoy all-natural, thick-cut bone-in pork chops for $2.48 per pound, all-natural boneless chicken breasts $2.99 per pound, 5-ounce portions of tuna steak, mahi-mahi, or swordfish for $3.99 each, and Bush Light 30 racks just $17.99 each when you purchase 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Stop by Window World Lincoln for an open house of their new location at 5945 Cornhusker Highway from 11 to 7 this Friday, April 4th, for giveaways and raffle prizes and a remote broadcast by the guys from the Captain from 1 to 3. That's Friday at Window World Lincoln, now at 5945 Cornhusker Highway.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
When your home fills up with family, Allo Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Allo Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies with light winds. An afternoon high around 59. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise mainly cloudy. Low around 42. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day. An afternoon high near 55. Meteorologist Kyle Glucker from 3.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, back? We're back. Jay Foreman, Harrison on the ones and twos. Little Chicago Bears NFL talk. Harrison, your Chicago Bears. It's been something that's been on your Bears is well, first of all, it's the total opposite of the quarterback issues, but the stadium.
Yeah, it's a nonstop problem. It's annoying.
Well, I thought they had a deal to go out to Schaumburg a few years ago, right? And then now it seems like they're playing coy. They're like, hey, we got a couple options.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that you don't hire a head coach. Well, a head coach, your first time head coach, you'll go be a head coach anywhere, right? I mean, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
But for Ben Johnson, that was able to choose, I'm assuming that was part of the interview process, the acceptance of being the head coach. You want to know, because he's got to move his family. Say he lives downtown.
Yeah,
right?
what's the stadium going to be?
Well, if he's Soldier Field, well, then you move all the way out to Schaumburg. Well, like, man, you could have told me that, right? You don't want to take a sight unseen. So, the one thing is, I think Kevin Warren, obviously former Big Ten commissioner, says the Bears are expanding their options to include Arlington Heights, Illinois, where the franchise currently owns 326-acre property that previously housed the Arlington International Racecourse. He says the focus now is both downtown and Arlington Heights. These are not linear process or projects. They take time, take a lot of energy and effort. So he's pleased where they're at as a group. They are where they thought they would be. Now, you as a Bears fan, you can only answer that.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying that. What do you mean?
They
had a location in place, and now that they're, like you said, they're being coy about it, and we are where we thought you'd be. You thought you were going to have second guesses on where you want the stadium to be. Maybe they're just going through negotiation, but I thought all that was kind of figured out.
Yeah, well, they bought that it's $197 million in 2021. 2023, they went to beyond Arlington Heights in the summer, and it was all based on property taxes and probably
Which one's the property by the lakefront?
Well, it's at where that's renovating the Soldier Field now.
Mm-hmm. And is that still a possibility or not even?
He said downtown, so I don't know how you would move that. You just like moving a big crater, a big asteroid hit there. What do you go? I mean, I guess you could put a hotel or something like that, but that downtown Chicago taxpayers would not be happy. In Chicago, traffic is horrible anyways.
And Soldier Field's not salvageable. They tried it the one time. And
so it really comes down to this, and you see this sometimes where Arlington Heights pretty much board of trustees, they approved the tax settlement with the 3 school districts. Property tax bill would go up $3.6 million. The homeowner's like, not so fast, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's where it really got jammed up. Actually down in Carolina, where I have some family at, that was kind of what happened with the Panthers. They thought they were going to build a facility. Actually started to build a little bit of brick and mortar.
Panthers crazy thinking the people were going to let it be cool with that.
It was in South Carolina, and the team is in North Carolina, and then it didn't work. So
Chiefs just tried to get their taxpayers to do it for them and the Royals.
Yeah. I mean, it's
a common move by billionaires to see. Let's see if the people will pay for it first.
Well, here's what's crazy is that when you get a new stadium or you move it, remember when the Rams left St. Louis to go to LA? You get some money from the NFL. Then you get the Super Bowl. It's pretty much paid for.
Yep.
The Vikings had a Super Bowl. New York had a Super Bowl when they got the new field. So that's the appeal of it. You spend a little, make a lot. Get the taxpayers to pay some. We pay some. We make it all back. That's a great investment.
Yeah. Taxpayers, you don't make it back, but maybe you get to see some games.
Your property taxes go up so high, and your home values go up so high. Nobody wants to buy your house, but you got value.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting because you got a new coach. You definitely know Kevin Warren's not going anywhere with with the GMs probably not going anywhere, but you have a historic franchise that potentially could be leaving where you think it would always be and go out to the suburbs. It happened a little bit with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a whole history of their. This is like a historic landmark for. I think it still is a historic landmark, right? I know
they
that was
still,
the problem.
the old Vikings practice facility still. They used to have this old Viking ship out. It's still there.
Okay, so I wonder if
there.
that's. I know the city of Chicago made like Soldier Field a historical landmark. I don't know if it still stands as that, but I know the first time they're doing why they had to update it was simply because there's so much paperwork with it being tied to the city, and they weren't even making revenue like for 50 years on some stupid contract when they made it a historical landmark.
Yeah,
so like the city took on like some of the debt of building it, and then as a result, they made like all the profits of it. So it's just always kind of been a historical location, but really not a great deal for the Bears ever.
Yeah,
great deal for the city of Chicago.
Yeah,
but not
for the Bears. Yeah, and obviously owners are billionaires. They want to make some of that money, but they're billionaires for a reason, so they know how to do big business. But I'm sure the fans of Chicago are on pins and needles about it because one of the doctors I see is in Chicago. You know, he lives out towards Schaumburg. You know, his whole practice. You know, obviously we're dealing with with NFL players, but you know, when he takes clients in there, you know, he has a place downtown where he stays. Now, if they move back out there, then he's got to, you know, try to sell that and try to get, you know, you don't know how close Arlington Heights is to his house, and Chicago traffic it's sun up to sundown, constant traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 miles can take you an hour.
And it's one of those cities where, you know, during the season, in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
It'll take you twice that.
Yeah, and then you got to think, okay, we're going to try to get a tram system. That's going to cost you more money. So the one thing I will say about Minneapolis and Minnesota is they already had that infrastructure set.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem with the Bears. A lot of these plans you'll see is like infrastructure or the transportation infrastructure is a big part of it.
Transportation from the burbs, both east and west, north and south, was already set in place to go downtown because you had the Metrodome downtown, the Target Center, the Twins played at the Metrodome, but now the new baseball stadium, Dinkytown is close where the Gophers play.
Yep.
The Vikings are downtown. So
I think Mall of America is not too far either. So you got a lot of traffic over there.
That's where you pretty much would park and go.
Yeah.
But then also the Excel Center where the hockey team plays is on the Minneapolis side, essentially across the river in St. Paul. So it's all kind of connected, but it already was set. And you already had the St. Paul like convention center and stuff like that. So you had separation, but you had landmarks to go where you could get there really relatively easy. Chicago, you might as well just try to figure out.
I haven't been to Chicago, not like that, where I can actually say what the roads and cities are like.
It's horrible.
Really? Traffic-wise, is that bad?
You want to hear a funny story about
it's just
Chicago?
not a city you hear about with horrible traffic. Like
Chicago? Oh, it's horrible.
Like you assume big city, not great, but
Harrison, I've driven through Chicago, around Chicago since I was a kid with my dad driving back out to DC.
Damn, it's that bad.
We used to do we drive from Minneapolis to DC every year, and so you got to time it when you leave Minneapolis. You got to time it to when you get around and through Chicago. Because if you're 30 minutes late or 30 minutes early or 30 minutes late, you jammed up. So I've been through Chicago every way, and I've been through Chicago when we have to. Sometimes we left at night to try to time it up, and you got the flashlight trying to do the maps and with the highlighter and stuff. Then we got to figure out another way. It's intense. Now there's just a ton of people there. But I'll tell you a funny story about Chicago before we go to break. I was just finished my rookie year in Buffalo, and we lost to Miami that year in the playoffs. That was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a running back. He ran for like 8,000 yards. Get back. We have the end of the season meeting. I flew my cousin out. We drove back. He said he had it handled as a shotgun, because we had maps then.
Right.
We didn't have phones. And matter of fact, we had MapQuest. I do remember that. But
which one's MapQuest?
Because you could print it off and say you go 300 miles.
Oh,
and then you can take
I remember my
so
parents. Most I did. We had the maps in the car.
Yeah.
Right before, and then we got the Garmin.
Yeah,
that was a game changer.
So we had the map and MapQuest. He's supposed to be riding shotgun. Well, we could get a little bit late because Buffalo, Chicago. And then we was like, all right, we'll stay just on the other side of Chicago, head up through Wisconsin, and then we'll just punch it on home in the morning. Well, he called him, so he was having too good of a time riding shotgun. Didn't miss the exit. It's 10 miles. It's a 30-minute turnaround to get back there, and this is like 10 o'clock at night. It's rush hour traffic. We end up staying up through Racine to Wisconsin to Milwaukee, and then drove it in there extra 2 hours because there was no reason for us to turn around. We might as well just go to Milwaukee and just bust it on in the morning. Chicago traffic is crazy.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's people. I mean, it's a great city, but it's crazy. Driving is not fun. It's like DC.
It makes sense now with the DC. I always hear is a nightmare because it's everything just like going around
and everything
circles.
And everybody just goes down to then they disperse.
Yeah, and it's intentionally well, maybe this is just conspiracy. Intentionally, some of the roads are just winding around.
Probably
around like important areas just to keep people.
Yeah, and they got the fake buildings.
Yeah,
I heard it all. Yeah, so I lived in Frederick, Maryland, which is kind of like around Fort Detrick, and my uncle lived in Gaithersburg. It would take him the same distance to get to Ronald Reagan Airport as it would be us to live in Frederick, and he's 30 minutes close. Because once you hit Gaithersburg, you might as well just get ready to chill. Unless you have the was it HOV pass or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's jammed up. And don't let there be an accident. You ain't making the plane. So when you fly out of Reagan, DCI, or anything like that, it's definitely 2.5 hours early. Any day of the week, anytime.
See, this is why Lincoln sounds nice sometimes. I don't need any of that.
I think even though Lincoln's upgraded their airport, I think you can still get through there in like 10 minutes.
I'm not about to start complimenting the airport too much now. They got to bounce back.
They need some more airlines.
Mm-hmm. Exciting start.
It looks better.
Yeah, it is.
It looks nicer.
I couldn't tell you what it takes to have a super successful airliner, though, especially in a place like Lincoln. So I'm not going to critique it too much. But
I mean, I just probably I don't know. It'd be interesting to, obviously, this has nothing to do with sports. Is like, sure, ticket listeners know, do you have to have a certain length of runway to get major airlines in, or what is it? Probably the traffic of people flying from Lincoln. I have no idea. I'm sure it comes down to money.
I did some Microsoft Flight Simulator, and
you did?
Yeah, just let you land wherever. But
no,
I wasn't probably playing it the right way.
Nick does that too.
On Flight Simulator?
Yeah, I will tell you, we should. We don't have enough time. We do a ticket poll. Who would we rather be our pilot, Harrison or Nick? I'm voting for you.
That's the right answer.
I think Nick would trust like autopilot, and then turbulence. He just wake up, autopilot got it. No, you need to really lock in and get us out of this turbulence for the next 45 minutes. Nick could just say, "Oh, don't worry about it. People. We're in autopilot. We'll make it. Just sit back and relax."
I trust Nick with the Cessna. I don't think more than that.
That's it.
Too much.
Isn't that the little plane?
Yeah, a little Cessna.
No, that's definitely one I don't trust them in.
Well,
I mean, detailed enough.
That's the one where you ain't flying anything too crazy though. There's no autopilot.
But you need to know what you're doing. Those are the ones you definitely don't want Nick on. You want Nick on the big ones where you just talk your way through it.
But when I think of Cessna, I think 2 passengers at most. Commercial airliner, we're talking. That's a lot of people's lives we're trusting.
Yeah, but the person that you got trusted, where the person that has to be on that day is the pilot.
Yeah,
that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust. We even got a text her. I guarantee they said they don't trust Nick. Oh, he says Big Bank Hank says the runway is crazy long, all good for everyone. Yeah, because they do get some of the don't the Duncan Aviation work on like U.S. president's planes and those planes.
Oh, it might.
Yeah, the private jets and stuff. I know they do. They do takeoff stuff. They do like.
And being down there, the runways are pretty long.
Oh, Dave from Renew. Listen to this. This dude here. I got Nick's back. He can fly me to Dallas. I like that. That's an inside joke. Nick can fly you first class though. John and Cortland says runway they were landing at 747 with a shuttle on the back of it. Runway can land anything. All right, so now it's not the runway. So then it's just the money.
Just the money.
So the airlines probably aren't making enough money based on the.
That makes sense. There's not as people going to the Lincoln Airport as there is in the Atlanta Airport.
United flies more. It's all about probably where you go for your connection.
Yeah, I just got my hopes up the first time around. I was like, they'll probably be direct flights. No.
Where, to Lincoln?
From just from the Lincoln and Omaha airport. I was like, just because we got another airport, maybe that'll free up some stuff. And Lincoln direct flights, and even Omaha. But even if you fly out of Omaha, like you're barely gonna find a direct flight.
Well, if you go to Denver,
You can go to
Chicago.
Dallas. That's a direct flight.
I don't know. You probably can fly Lincoln to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Where else? No, not to Phoenix. That's Omaha.
I don't think there is like hardly any.
You know when
that makes sense.
I know we're up against the break here, and then I got to take off. But when I used to fly home for like Thanksgiving and Christmas, we used to fly. Well, it's Delta now. It used to be Northwest from Lincoln.
Really?
No, I mean Delta was here for a little while, then they're gone now. You could fly from here at Lincoln to Atlanta when Delta was here. That's facts. I flew on that flight before.
That's a bummer. I didn't know that.
It's all United. I think when we were in college, we flew Sun Country.
What is that?
It's
Sun
like
Country?
well, I think they're out in was it Grand Island or Carney got there?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's Grand Island. You fly to Vegas now.
It's called Sun Country Airliners?
Yeah, they got them in Minneapolis. I flew to Vegas before there on there. It's nice.
So it's like a low man's Spirit airline.
No, ain't no fighting on there.
Okay.
People enjoy. People are excited to get out of winter.
It's called Sun Country. Oh, that makes sense. Sun Country. Yeah, you're flying out Minneapolis from the cold to
but
the
here's
nice.
the difference
Okay.
with Sun Country. You're not going back and forth between Minneapolis and Vegas, Minneapolis and Phoenix every day. It's like if you fly on Sunday, you only coming back Thursday. So you there's no business flights. It's trips. Like you're going for
the Sun Country.
Mini
the name
vacation.
makes sense.
Yeah, mini vacation.
All right.
Yeah, they got
good
that.
marketing.
Yeah. So anyway, good marketing. We'll take a quick break. Come back. Harrison will be here, and then we'll turn it over to WTF with Eastrick and Clester. Jay Foreman, Harrison, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own. Always in the driver's seat, huh? Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what?
I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies with light winds and action high around 59. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise mainly cloudy, low around 42. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day, and action high near 55. Meteorologist Kyle Lutton from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, wrapping things up here. Solo, old school, just Harrison on the left here back at the Ticket Studios before we get set for We Talk Facts, 6 to 7 with Eric Strickland and Cluster Johnson. I will keep it on the NFL here a little bit, not so much aviation, as that's where we landed on the last segment, but 402-464-5685, as always, that is the Sartor Heyman text line. And let's talk a little bit, while we only got a few minutes, about Aaron Rodgers and his sweepstakes. Still trying to figure out if he's going to end up being a Pittsburgh Steeler or if he's going to wait, take a somewhat of a Ndamukong Suh approach and just wait around to be a hired assassin. But I think we talked a little bit about Foreman already, but he's in a unique situation because I can't figure out who would be more desperate. The Steelers definitely need a quarterback right now, but if you're Aaron Rodgers, there's no other team outside of the Steelers where it really makes sense for him to go. So I don't know what the holdout is, who would be holding out in this situation, even though I'm not in love with Rodgers' game right now, and his inaccuracy was very noticeable last season. If you want to say it's injuries, shaking off rust, just the dynamic of the team, the chemistry. Obviously, his coaches got fired mid-season there, but he was wildly inaccurate at times. It looked nothing like the Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers outside of a few highlight throws, especially late in the season. He had a couple nice games with Devontae Adams when he was in the fold, but it was still nothing close to anything near his peak or even some of his better seasons with the Packers. But then again, like if you're the Steelers, your room's still sitting so bare and empty that you might have to take the swing on it. I think they've kind of found themselves in a tough situation because if you want to try to wait in the draft, I don't know how many QBs will be left at that point. And I think they'd be really lucky if Dart's still available. And if he is, I think then that's the obvious answer. You go ahead and draft him. If you didn't end up picking up Aaron Rodgers, but I don't feel great about Dart being there. And if he's not there, the rest of the QBs up to that point in time, I don't think they're going to be worth the risk. They're going to be guys that you just put all this effort into free agency. You get some really good wide receivers. You fix up that offensive line a little bit. And if you don't have the right quarterback in that room, you spent all that money for basically nothing. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. Be curious to see how that one shakes out. Of course, we'll continue to talk about it here on 93.7 The Ticket as that continues to play out. But that's going to wrap it up for old school. Like I said before, We Talk Facts up next. Eric Strickland, Cluster Johnson. They will take you through that 6 to 7 o'clock hour. Appreciate you guys listening and have a great rest of your Thursday.